Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
October 24, 2020, the Goldman Sachs International Settlements. In this episode of the Daily Compliance News, I want to take a look at the international settlements involving Goldman Sachs. And we begin with the Singapore settlement, that being reported in the StraightTimes of Singapore. And we had 2 governmental functions, the Commercial Affairs Division and the Monetary Authority of Singapore, actually 3, and then the Attorney General's Chambers of Singapore. The most interesting thing is it's a $122 million settlement, but the Monetary Authority has required a corporate monitor. So that was not required in the United States. It's the Attorney General's Chamber, but a monitor is required in Singapore. So it's going to be interesting to see how that might play out. Next up, from a Business Insider, the Hong Kong financial regulator slapped Goldman with a $350 million fine. This involves the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission assessing the largest fine it's ever imposed. Obviously, there were higher fines elsewhere. The Hong Kong regulators did not require a monitor, but it's interesting that the conduct incurred in Hong Kong led to this fine. We had 2 very interesting fines from the United Kingdom. And the first one is from the Bank of England. And here, the Bank of England, together with the Financial Conduct Authority, fined Goldman $126 million. But the Bank of England really focused on the failure of the bank's own, or Goldman Sachs rather, own internal controls. The Deputy Governor for Regulation of the Bank of England found, or said there were 4 specific areas: assess the risk factors for each 1MDB bond transaction, the involvement of the third parties, i.e. J. Lowe, in each 1MD bond transaction had serious red flags. There was a lack of exercise of care, diligence, and skill in the allegations of bribery and misconduct for each bond transaction, and that there was insufficient detail of the assessment and management risk oversight. So really a lot of commentary about the role of risk management, which I found very interesting and something I'm going to be exploring in detail. And then finally, of course, is the settlement with the Financial Conduct Authority as well. And here, once again, the Financial Conduct Authority noted that firms have a crucial role to play in the overall worldwide financial system and in money laundering as well, and that Goldman Sachs failed in that disregard, allowing money to be laundered through these 1MDB offerings going forward. So that's the international settlements. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.